First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for accepting the invitation to be here today, taking a little bit of your busy time, and some of you, especially those who have business in the community and work in the community, after we do what we will do, they have to go home still and travel. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming. What we will do tonight is very simple. We will show you some of the projects that have been finished within the last 12 months or so, some of the projects that are going on in the community, and some that are scheduled to begin very soon. The reason why we're here tonight is somehow this community is as diverse as it is. In most cases, it's highly disconnected. When I go to Hyatt Court, for example, and I talk to the folks in Hyatt Court, they, for the most part, they don't know what's going on the South Street area. And the same thing happens when I go to 1060 Broad Street, and they feel kind of disconnected with what's going on in the community. So this is a way for everyone to come together and see exactly what's going on in our community, what makes our community what it is today. I often say that the way the city, someone said some time ago, I think it was the mayor, Mayor Gibson, that where the cities of the country go, Newark will be there first, something like that. I often say that whatever Newark is going, the Ironbound, the East Ward will be there first. I am privileged. I am privileged. I am privileged to serve as the councilman for the last 14 years of this community. We have come a long way. My best barometer to see the progress that we have made in this community is not only with what the residents feel and how they feel about the work that is being done, but also with the comments that are made from people who visit this community from time to time, once a year. And the best example was a mayor, a Portuguese mayor, who comes in once a year and is a friend of mine, and he's been around since 1997. And last year, when we were talking about what's going on in our community, he said, whoever doesn't see that this community has evolved in a very good way, in a very progressive way, either is blind or he doesn't want to see it. Are we there already? No. No, we have a long way to go. We need to continue to work very hard to make sure that the kinds of things that have been in the back burner for a long time will happen. Just by coincidence, I'll give you an example. Last night, we've been meeting with Celanese. Celanese is the party responsible for the contamination of the Ironbound Stadium. It's been closed for over 35 years, shut down completely. Eastside High School, and we have the principal here, Mario Santos, Dr. Santos. Eastside High School is the only high school in the city of Newark that doesn't have its own facility to play, either football or soccer or anything. So we've been working very hard with the help of some folks from Western Solutions to bring Celanese to the table and find a happy medium where we can find the funding to do once for all, to not only to do the stadium, but to reopen the stadium, especially for Eastside High School and for the community. And last night, I have, after we had one or two meetings with Celanese, last night I had a very, very pleasant text message from the gentleman from Western Solutions indicating that Celanese is ready to settle, he's ready to give us what we deserve to have, and he's very optimistic. For the first time in about 30 years, he's very optimistic in terms of what's going to happen with Ironbound Stadium. If we continue to work this way, I have absolutely no doubt that by the end of 2013, we finally have Ironbound Stadium available to us. Don't forget also that we will have $5 million coming from the Hess Corporation for the plant that will be built on the Remus Avenue. So putting all the pieces together, we will have the money available to do Ironbound Stadium and finally open it to the community after 35 years of being shut down. That's one small example. What we're going to go through, and I hope that you stay with us for the entire presentation, because we were going through a list of and a series of projects that have either taken place or will be taking place in the very near future, and I was extremely impressed. Last night, I took the entire package to the City Council, and by the way, again, I came home at 1:30 in the morning because the council meeting lasted until 1:30 in the morning. But I was sharing some of the stuff. That's fine, that's fine. Actually, it's on TV, so it's fine. But I was sharing some of the stuff with a couple of my colleagues, and they were absolutely impressed. They couldn't believe. The first question that Councilman Baraka made was, "Is this citywide?" I said, "No, it's only the East Ward." He said, "Wow." He was totally blown away. And you will see what's going on in a few minutes. So without further ado, we will start the presentation. The completed projects, and I'll give you a list first, and then we'll go into details in terms of what the list and what those projects are all about. The completed projects are the Seabra Group supermarket right across the street from here, the Hyatt Court renovation, which was a commitment that we made to the residents of the Hyatt Court complex, the County Riverfront Park, which was a partnership built between the city and the county, Wakefern Foods, which is a facility built on the old farmers market that was projected to employ about 350 people, and they're now at the tipping point of 500, and most of those employees are Newark residents. Independence Park renovation, which is a small, we replaced the old turf with the new turf on the softball area. Jabez Street Mall, the South Street Mall, Rainbow Land School, Evolution Gym, and the Avenue 8 Club. This is a list of the kinds of things that have happened in our community in the recent past. Seabra Supermarket, right across the street from here. I'm not trying to plug the Seabra Supermarket, but it's a state-of-the-art facility, and it was opened in December of 2011. We decided to put it on the list of projects that were completed recently, because it's something that we should be very proud of in terms of a new facility where people can shop at their convenience. The Hyatt Court renovation. Some time ago, the residents of Hyatt Court, and for those of you who don't know where Hyatt Court is, if you drive down Ferry Street and you make a right by Lance Avenue, you come around by Horatio Street, Horatio Court, Hawkins Street, and you find Hyatt Court there. And the tenants came to me under the leadership of Gloria Maxwell, who's sitting in the back, and Nancy, and they talked about the problems that they have there. And they talked about a ton of problems. And we said, what does the group of residents want to do in this case? I will support you as long as you take the lead. And it's been my position from the very beginning. They created the plan. We went to the housing authority and we said, the complex is too big. 13 buildings, and we had 5 at the time that were basically empty, but were the source of a lot of problems. We had constant meetings with the police director at the time, We had constant meetings with folks from outside of the community to see if we could deal with the problems that we had there. In a sense, what they suggested was reduce the size of the complex, move it from 13 buildings to 8 buildings, tear down 5 buildings, and this way we'll be able to keep control of the problems that we have in the community. If you see the space in front of it, we're now in the process of creating a plan to be able to do something with the space that we have there. And if you drive by there, you'll see a totally different image that you had in the past from this complex. County Riverfront Park. Our folks, our friends at the county, with the sheriff involved, Sheriff Fontore, and County Executive Joe D, when he came to us, and Nancy was also involved in this from ICC. Joe has been a strong proponent of more parks in inner areas, such as Newark. And we talked about this, about building a new facility, a new park, right by the river. Well, how long did it take, Nancy? About a year and a half? 1 year. And if you drive by Raymond Boulevard, you will see a brand new state-of-the-art facility with a soccer field, a baseball field, tennis courts, playground, all kinds of things. And it's all because of the partnership that was built between Joe D, the county executive, and the community. He made a commitment, and he followed through with it. Wakefern Foods. There's a story behind it, and I'll go into it a little bit more later on when we get to something similar to this. I found it strange for the 14 years that I've been a councilman that if I drive down the turnpike and if I get to exit 88, for example, I see a lot of distribution centers located in that area. It's very simple, folks. The products and the goods and the products that come off the ships and go into containers, they go into containers and they're being delivered down at the exit 88, Cranberry and those areas. Those are $14, $15, $16, $20 jobs. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to have one of those jobs. Newark residents were totally shut out of those jobs because those jobs were being located or relocated to those areas around Cranberry on exit 88. Lately, there has been a change in terms of the mindset of the city in terms of creating more employment. And Wakefern Foods is a perfect example. The space was available in the old farmers market, and Wakefern came to the city, and they now have a facility that started as the potential for 300 people to be employed, and now they're close to 500. I met with them Thursday afternoon, and they are very close to hire 500 people, most of them residents from the city of Newark. They actually are the agents to supply the goods to ShopRite. Independence Park is a very simple thing. Following on the commitment that Joe D made, he also is beginning to refurbish the space that we have available, the recreational space that we have available, and this is a perfect example, the softball field at Independence Park that has been, a new turf has been placed there. J. Best Street Mall. It's a strip mall on J. Best Street. If you drive down Wilson Avenue, you'll find New York Bagel. New York Bagel, an icon in New York City, came to Newark, and it's now part of the complex. South Street Mall, the same thing. South Street Mall was built not too long ago in an area that originally was and we had a big fight. We had a big argument in the community about what to do with this area. And what we suggested is what you see there. You see homes on the Clifford Street side, and Eliana was a homeowner on Clifford Street, on the new homes on Clifford Street, and you also see this as part of the total complex that was built. Rainbow Land. One of the biggest problems we have in our community is space for schools. One of the biggest problems we have in our office is in the beginning of the school year, we get calls from everyone. I took my son or my daughter to N Street School or Oliver Street School, and the school is over capacity. N Street School, I was just told by the principal yesterday that this is the most that they've had in a long, long time in terms of the number of students. Also, Oliver Street School. So some kids that were entitled to go, for example, to N Street School are going to Wilson Avenue and others, and Lafayette. Preschool was built on Goddard Street. Evolution Gym, state-of-the-art gym on Monroe Street. I don't go there because I don't have to. But this is, but just go by and you'll see that this is a state-of-the-art facility, something that we should be very proud of. Avenue A Club, another one. It's a surprise. If you have an opportunity to ever attend an event at the Avenue A Club, do me a favor, go there, because you'll be impressed. You have a bunch of cars. Some of them go back to 1917, something like that. On the first floor and on the second floor, you have a facility, a catering facility that amazes you. From my good friend, Paul Much. Now let's go into the ongoing projects. Hayes Park East, renovation of the Ironbound Rec Center. I know there are some people here that are extremely excited about this. The renovation of the Chestnut Street Firehouse. The Newark Riverfront Park, and I'm talking about the passive park, and I'll go into details in a second. The Marriott Courtyard Hotel, which will open Monday. The ribbon cutting will be Monday on Broad Street, Broad and Lafayette. Panasonic Corporation. The Lister Morris Project, and I'll go into details in a second. And the Ferry Street streetscaping. You all know that Ferry Street is beginning to look like a different type of street. It should be what I envisioned Ferry Street to be a long time ago. The welcoming area for anyone who wants to come to the Ironbound. Hayes Park East. If I were to tell you the saga of Hayes Park East, you probably wouldn't believe. This thing has been going out to bid about 3 or 4 times. And every time it goes out to bid, it comes back because of something. Either the company that received the bid doesn't have the bond, or something else. So now it's out to bid again. We have the funding. The problem is with a company that always gets the contract. We have the funding, as I said before, and our intent is next to Seabra Group on Ferry Street, we will have a new outdoor swimming pool. I'm sure that everybody remembers the old outdoor swimming pool. We will have a swimming pool, a playground, a skateboard park right behind it, an indoor soccer court for all year-round competition, a volleyball court, 1 or 2 volleyball courts on the side, and we also have a catering and office and everything else building on the right side. And our intent is to have the Down Next Sports Group to, in a sense, enter into an agreement with the city to use this facility for the summer program that should be available to the kids from the East Ward. Within the last 2 or 3 years, we did something that was unique in the city of Newark, and no other community has this. We enter into an agreement between the city and Hockey in Newark, for example, and the Down Neck Sports to utilize the Ironbound Rec Center. And what we are doing is basically shifting the responsibility not only for the use of the facility, but also the maintenance of the facility and the scheduling of the activities in the facility to the community itself. We know that the city doesn't have the resources as we go along. We all know that constantly we keep raising taxes and laying off people. So we need to shift the responsibility of the city and those especially on the recreational facilities to the community. And this is a perfect example of what we have done already with the rec center and what we intend to do with this place. Renovation of the Ironbound Rec Center. If we were to go into the rec center, as some of us have in the audience, you would be ashamed to walk in there in the past. I went there Monday. I took a walk around, and after a lot of effort and a lot of work on the part of a lot of individuals in this city, not only in city government, but also in the community, the rec center, with an investment of about $450,000, is as a facelift. We should open it officially, or reopen it, on October 13. And I must say one thing. When the folks who are running the hockey and the skating program came to me about 3 or 4 years ago, I put in a sense, my reputation on the line. This is, everybody knows, this is a soccer community. And this place was being kind of fought between two sides about what to do with it in the winter. We decided to go this way and let the folks who use it for hockey and skating to use it all year round. And a program that started with about 67 kids has now over 350. It's an amazing program. And Keith Beltray, who's a teacher at Eastside High School, who runs the program with a few other folks, should be very, very proud of what they have achieved. We're now to the point that this facility will be eventually, starting in October, will be utilized all year round and every day of the week, because we have a ton of activities scheduled for this facility. Chestnut Street Firehouse. It's another ongoing project. Was needed, was totally needed. The asbestos have been removed, and we're now working. If you pass by there, and I'm sure Mike has, and Richard have seen the work that is being done there. And once this is completed, this will be turned over to the community and to the fire department, and we'll have a community room. We'll have tons of activities going on in that place, and the firemen will go back to where they were before. The Riverfront Park. There's a difference between what we saw before, which was the Riverfront Park built by the county, and this park. This park is a passive park. It's not an activity type of park. Between Jackson Street and Sami Street, the city's building a riverfront park. If you drive by Raymond Boulevard and you see all the action going on alongside of the river, eventually, very, very soon, you'll see a passive park where you will see people walking by the river, activities going on by the river. We hope to have a stage on the river and people sitting by, and Nancy and ICC have been extremely involved in this from the very beginning again. There have been partners built between the community and the city. Just last Saturday, we had a a list of activities related to this. And very, very soon, you will see a passive park that will be connected to the riverfront park that the county built a few months ago. The Marriott Courtyard Hotel, which will be open on Monday. I was informed today that the grand opening will be done on Monday, and it's an investment of, and I can't pinpoint, it's between 25 million and 50 million. But a commitment was made to build a hotel next to the arena, and here we are. We're looking for tenants for the first floor for the retail. Panasonic. Panasonic is coming to Newark from Secaucus. There was a possibility at one time of Panasonic moving to places like Chicago, Seattle, because they were, everyone knows it's a Japanese corporation, and they were thinking about leaving not only the town of Secaucus, but also the state of New Jersey. The governor got involved, and through tax credits, they decided to come to Newark. And where they are is in between Don Pepe restaurant and the legal center. And it's being built right now. We hope to have the place finished by the end of the year. And what started as with the moving of approximately 650 positions from Secaucus to Newark, and by the way, the employees were ecstatic because they didn't lose their jobs. It's now projected to have about 900 employees. Some of them will be residents of the city of Newark. Lister Morris project. Let me recap what I said before about the turnpike and the distribution centers that are located along the turnpike, especially on exit 88. I found strange, as I said before, that the city didn't have a philosophy for employment. And it was mind-boggling for me to accept the fact that the goods come off the ships, get into containers, and they're being driven down to exit 88. They would stay there for a little while, and then they would be returned to the metropolitan area up here, either Newark or New York. Lister Avenue, and we have Mark Bava as one of the principals of this project. Mark Bava and a few other folks came to me one day and said, we need to work to make sure that this gets done. And if you go up by Lister Avenue, take Chapel Street all the way up Lister Avenue, and you look toward the side of the river, you will see probably Joe Casmiro. Is he here? Yes. Joe Casmiro from Power Concrete, a local contractor with the majority of their employees, local residents. Joe Casmiro and Jack, his father, with Power Concrete, working on this facility to build a distribution center that will employ, am I correct, over 300 people eventually? Maybe more. And this is the type of innovative type of projects that the city of Newark needs. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to have a job in a place like this, in a distribution center. But there's more coming, and we'll talk about what's coming after this one. We had the groundbreaking recently in there, and through a lot of support from the city, and through a lot of work on our part, and Mark is a witness to this, we finally got this project off the ground, did the groundbreaking, and we're on our way. The Ferry Street streetscaping, the first phase is done up to Wilson Avenue. We need to pave a little bit of Ferry Street from Polk to Wilson Avenue, and then we will be looking for, we are actually looking for funding to do the East Ferry. I have to tell you also that from Lance Avenue to Lockwood Street, we should be seeing the paving of that street finally done and taking care of the potholes that we have there and all that mess. So the Ferry Street project is to continue as soon as we get the funding, and we'll move into the East Ferry Street side. New projects. Not a very long list, but not a very short list. Two of the most needed types of entities in our community, schools. As I said before, we're at the seams right now. Ann Street, every school in the Ironbound has a problem with overcrowding. So after, what was his name, McGreevy? Promised. After Corzine promised. After Christie promised. We finally are beginning to see some signs that Oliver Street School will begin construction before the end of the year. I was assured recently that the testing of the soil and some environmental work is going to start very soon on the Oliver Street side. And once that is done, the construction of the school will begin immediately. And we expect to have the school ready by September of 2014. There has been also, in conjunction with the building of the school, the property across the street from the new site for the Oliver Street School. I don't know if you are familiar with it, but there's a house right in the corner that has been abandoned for a long time, for as long as I've been a councilman. And we were able, when we had the Newark Public Schools at about $64 million available through bonds that the city created. Out of the $64 million, I was able finally to convince Superintendent Bolden at the time to set aside $5 million to buy that property across the street where Oliver Street School is going to be built, to make it a park and serve as support for the Oliver Street School. Janie, the new superintendent Follow Bolden, committed again in writing to have the $5 million allocated for that purpose. Recently, we found out verbally, and it can't be done unless the city council approves, verbally we found out that the $5 million were being used to fix schools all over the place. And that was the excuse that was given by the new superintendent. Well, all hell's, pardon the expression, all hell's breaking loose. And we finally, Tuesday morning, we made a decision that we would not allow, the city council and the city would not allow the $5 million to be used for any other purpose but what was intended for in the very beginning. So the $5 million will be to buy the piece of property that will serve as a support system for the school that will be built on this site. So we have guarantees that the city council is united on this, and we will see a park there eventually. Ironbound Stadium. The saga of Ironbound Stadium, 35 years closed. Some of us played there a long, long time ago, either football or soccer or even baseball. Ironbound Stadium has been closed for about 35 years. Finally, Celanese, which is the primary entity responsible for the contamination of the site, through the efforts of some folks in the city, like myself and Director Mehdi Mohammedish, decided to come to the table, force Celanese to come to the table and find a happy medium, a settlement where they would contribute with a certain amount of money for the contamination of the site. This is after 35 years. I got a text message yesterday from the gentleman from Western Solutions, the environmental agency, the environmental company that is involved in this process, saying that he was told from the very beginning not to get involved on this because it wouldn't work. And last night he sent me a message saying, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Very, very soon, Celanese will settle with the city for their responsibility of the contamination. And what we expect Celanese to give us is approximately $5 million to help us clean up the facility. Once we do that, we have $5 million allocated from the Hess Corporation, because that's what I demanded in the very beginning, as part of the concessions from Hess on an agreement that they made with the city, besides a lot of other things that they're providing to the city, $5 million to be used to build the stadium. So we expect by that the mid-2014, the latest, we have Ironbound Stadium available for East Side High School and the rest of the community. DuPont Morris and the Blanchard Street Morris. Again, the story will repeat itself. The Lister Avenue Morris is basically the same concept. The Morris Group, with Mark Vava and others, and Joe Morris and others, came into the city, and what they're doing is they're cleaning up contaminated sites and turn them into productive sites where distribution centers, offices, places that we can use to bring new jobs into the city. And these two facilities combined, once they're completed, will have over 1,000 jobs, and most of them will be Newark residents. This should have been done a long time ago, my friends. And they were persistent from the very beginning. They almost gave up. True, Mark?
We haven't given up. We've been working on it since 2004, 2005.
But there were some rough times. Yes. We will get through. The Penn Bruin Street project. The Penn Bruin Street project is very simple. It's market rate housing. They will be built on Bruin Street. And we'll show the picture, and we'll go into details in a second. Last but not least, the ICC Head Start Center, together with the preschool that we have on New York Avenue. And we'll show you the picture, and you'll be surprised. Oliver Street School, we talked about before. We expect that by the end of, by the opening of the school year in 2014, we'll have Oliver Street School available. South Street School, the same situation. The governor committed. We should start construction in the beginning of 2013 or sometime during 2013, and the school will be available sometime later on. And by the way, the South Street School, which now is K through 5, will be a regular school, 750 kids. Ironbound Stadium, again, I don't want to bore you with the details, but we expect by the end of 2013 or the beginning of 2014, we will have Ironbound Stadium available. There's one caveat in here. Celanese wants to walk away from the city of Newark completely, and we should hold them at ransom. They want to settle, and they want to move away, and they don't want to look back. And this is the last project that they have in terms of contaminated sites throughout the entire country. So they want to resolve this as quickly as possible. The DuPont Morris site, again, I have a picture that it's not actually the picture because the site's not available yet. We haven't begun construction, but it's something that we're working very hard on, and we expect that as soon as it's available, this facility will create about 600 jobs. If you come off the turnpike on exit 15E, you look down, you'll see a ton of containers. That's the site. Blanchard Street, the same thing. This is a smaller site than the DuPont site, and the intent is to turn that over, clean it up first, and turn it over to a productive site. Again, as I said before, with the Lister Avenue site, the builder, the contractor, is a local contractor, a local from here. They're on Raymond Boulevard next to the Riverfront Stadium, the Riverfront Park, and they employ, the majority of their employees are from the city of Newark. Power Concrete. Penn Bruin Street project, which was approved recently by the Planning Board. It's about 47 apartments of market rate housing, It's being built on Broome Street, right behind Centro and Sano. As you go down Lafayette Street, you make a left on Broome Street. And they hope, I met with the principal, with the owner of the site 2 days ago, and they hope to start construction very, very soon. By the way, I must mention that that area is probably the most attractive area in the entire city of Newark. If this, and I say this bluntly, if this community and this city is to move one step forward, one step higher, we need to build the type of housing, create the conditions to attract new people to come into the city of Newark. We're now on the verge of competing very, very, very hard, and we may lose the race with the town of Harrison. If you look across the river, you'll see apartments going up all over the place. All kinds of things going on in that side of the river. If we're not smart enough to create the conditions to bring people to the city of Newark, and especially to this area, by doing certain things, with the agreement of the residents of the area, because they will put together their own plan, we'll lose the race. Next. ICC Head Start Center. That's the latest project that we have. Next to, on New York Avenue and New Jersey Railroad Avenue, there's a preschool there that is being run by ICC. It's one of the top, if not the best, preschools in the city. And next to it, they have obtained the body shop next to it, and they're going to build a Head Start Center for 150 children. 0 to 300? Oh, 0 to 3 years old. 150? So slowly we're getting there. Slowly we're getting there. And my closing remarks are very simple. This was not done by one person. This was not done by two people. This was not done by three people. It was done by you, in most cases, through the private initiative. It was done with the cooperation from the city. It was done with a lot of commitment from a lot of us. And in the end, the benefits go to the residents of this city. I'm sick and tired of trying to justify the increasing taxes, the lack of services that we are getting less and less of, and it's about time that we do certain things to change the landscape of the city, create more employment, more opportunities for the residents of this city, and at the same time move away from imposing on the taxpayers and on the residents of the city the continuing responsibility to balance the budget. This will create not only jobs, but also will create revenues, will create ratables, and in turn, we will, by doing that, we will make the pain a little bit softer and less. Now, any questions?
Before they take any questions, can I
Sure.
leave? Can I take leave of this? I hate to interrupt.
Absolutely.
But I have to go, and I just want to.
He's running for office, by the way.
Yes, yes. And I should have been in Montclair a half hour ago, so I have to put my lights and siren and get up there. This was as long as the President's State of the State, by the way. I think it's maybe a little longer. But it was great. I think that we all know that Augie has done a terrific job. There's no question that Augie has been the best council person in the East Ward in my lifetime. And I've gone through GLP. I've gone through a few, right? No question about it. He does this full time. That's all he does. The East Ward has benefited greatly from his great service. And I'm hopeful, and I am hopeful, that for the good of the East Ward, for the good of the city of Newark, and for the good of this county, that Augie runs for re-election in 2014.
Talk to my wife.
I will talk with your wife. I have to lobby her. I will lobby her, because I think it's very important for the people of this ward that you continue the great service that you provide. I know he pisses people off once in a while. That's okay. But he does it for the right reasons, though. Sometimes I get approached, well, you're a good friend of his, can you talk to him? And I look at him and I said, no, I don't have a problem with anything at all he's doing. I have never, ever. Have I ever talked to you about anything? No.
Yeah.
Because I said, when I see he's doing something wrong, then I'll talk to him. But I haven't had to do that. I think he does a terrific job, and I do hope, sincerely hope, that you will permit him to continue to service the great people of the East Ward. God bless.
Thank you. This was not staged, by the way. And he often does these things to me. But the best description of a successful politician that I have ever heard was from Bill Clinton one day. We were invited to go to the White House. I was not an official, a public official yet. And we're invited by members of the community. I think Tony was there, if I'm not mistaken. And Bill Clinton made a statement that, to me, it speaks volumes of the character of a person. He said that if he walks into a room with about 100 people, if 75 of them go to one side and 25 go to the other side, I'm a successful politician. I'm upsetting 25 people, but I'm pleasing 75, which means that I'm doing something right. So along the way, take some lumps, upset some people, but it's all for the benefit of the community, not for my benefit. My wife can be a witness to that. I will walk away from this, and I'm not trying to convince you one way or the other. This is more important than anything else. Eventually, I'll walk away from this as rich and as poor as I did when I first walked in. My intent is to leave a better and stronger community than when I found in 1998. And that's the only purpose and the only reason why I'm in office. Any questions?
Mr. Amador, I am a little voice in the very back of this meeting. Thanks for everything. I'm not the right people to make a speech in the name of the Hispanic. But we are very thankful with you, with your personality, with your approach to our community, with the labor that are doing every day. And probably you don't know, but our people respect you and admire, and God bless you.
Thank you. This is not about me. This is about us. I sincerely believe that as long as we have and we keep this purpose of continuing to believe in the concept of community, we'll be fine. We'll be okay. I often say, I'll give you an example. One of my best friends, if not my best friend, is Tony Seabra, and we have a deal going, and we made this deal a long time ago when I first got involved in politics. And the deal is very simple. Don't ask me for anything that I can't deliver. Our friendship will be over at that moment. And that has worked tremendously, has worked beautifully. Nancy.
My name is Nancy Lindsay. I'm a district leader. I'm also the vice president for High Court Tenants Association. I'm asking, as a parent and a parent liaison for Hawkins Street School, will we have any renovations to that school in the near future? We happen to have a new principal that has really just been there for a few months and has done a tremendous job of renovating the school, having it painted. She's had air conditioners put in and heaters for the winter. She has really made it very pleasant, very cozy, very comfortable, and healthy for the children. But we need further renovations. Is that going to be part of your plan?
By the way, before I say anything, I'd like to recognize two folks here, and one of them is the principal of Hawkins Street School, Sandra Marks. And Ileana is a member of the Board of Education also. Going back to your question, what we need to do is reassess what the needs are and fight for them at Auckland Street School, as we did with Wilson, even though the parents led the entire process at Wilson Avenue, and it turned out to be fine. Just the timing is not right. It should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah, I just had a committee meeting on Tuesday. So I know that for Hawkins, what's slated that they put through to the STA is for boilers. That school is in need of boilers. So that project has been approved. But with regards to the whole facade of the building right now, not so much so. But because as soon as Ms. Marks came in and became principal, you see all the changes that she's made in the school. That's all for now.
I need to make one more, I almost forgot, one more slide, to show you one more slide. The reason why I feel privileged and the reason why I feel good about doing this job constantly, next slide, please. Little City Hall. No one in the city of Newark has this. Why do we have an office that resembles City Hall, where you can go in, you pay your bill, you voice your complaint, you put on a request to remove that tree or fix a sidewalk or get a permit or do whatever you want to do. You don't have to go to City Hall. You would cry, for example, if you were to sit there on a especially around tax time, property tax time, and you would see the senior members of this community walk in, I didn't say drive, walk in and pay their bills there. And the reflection on their faces where they don't have to go to City Hall to do that. They don't have to deal with anyone. They know the people because they've been there every day. Angelo, George's not here today because he had a death in the family. Claudia, Manuela, Maria, these folks, they know who they are. So they walk in, they make their payment, and the following day, the payment is registered on their accounts. They voice a complaint. On Tuesdays, I'm there from 3 to sometimes 7, talking to people. This is what public service is all about. Next slide. May was a time where the I think it's the third quarter for payments of property tax. Second quarter. Look at the activity there. We collected over $1 million in about 2 weeks in that little office because people feel comfortable going in there. They don't want to go to City Hall. They don't have to go to City Hall. This is what service is all about, bringing the service to the community. Bring City Hall to the community. On the 2nd of May, we collected if I'm okay, $295,000 just on taxes alone from people that they feel comfortable coming to us. Then on the 7th, a couple of days before the deadline, again, the same thing happened. Next slide. Water bills, the same way. Look at the activity for the entire month. For the entire month, $126,000 we collected in water bills. Last slide. The activity that goes on in there. Property taxes, water bills, miscellaneous type of work, PTRs for seniors who need a refund from the state. We do that for them. This is what service is all about and should be emulated throughout the entire city of Newark. Decentralization is the way to go. But try to get the other folks to go along with it. It's tough. So my friends, Tony.
I just want to say a couple things. My name is Ferry Street, and I do know Walker for a long, long time. I don't remember how many years ago. We were still both playing soccer, including goals.
Ironbound Stadium.
Yeah, Ironbound Stadium.
No, it's on tape. It's on tape. It's on tape.
No, but I have to be honest that I haven't seen this eastward as vibrant as I see it. And I've been here for a long, long time. And publicly, I want to thank Augie for devoting all of his time, because you do work full-time, as